officially started right now. Guess what? Here we are, U2 Ministries Podcast Studios. I know, a new place. We used to be at 103.5 K-Bay in Marble Falls with Ben Shields.
Both.
It was both
Ben
guys,
and-
Shields and he was our producer. And you know what? He was getting paid a lot of money, so he was really disappointed. And now he got fired. But he didn't get fired.
He's out of here.
We appreciate Ben, and we appreciate Amber, and thanks John and
Absolutely,
David.
yes.
And,
Thank
right?
you
So
for all that you've done.
all that you've done.
But what an amazing place here in downtown Austin.
Yeah, here we are. We're gonna change locations every week.
That sounds good.
We're finally at we're gonna stay put here for a while. We're trying to get in the prison system. We got to fill out the paperwork.
That's it. That's where we're heading.
All right, we're gonna take the podcast.
We're gonna make it in there.
We're gonna make it in there, but you got to fill out the paperwork just right.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is George. You remember George from last week?
How's it going?
Yeah. I had a friend of mine tell me George was so funny that I said, "Why is George funny?" He said, "Yeah, because he doesn't laugh at any of your jokes." I'm like, "Oh my God, how could George not laugh at any of my jokes?" So George, you better start laughing at some today.
Oh,
That's funny.
I've
And then
been
we
practicing.
Huh?
I've been practicing.
Yeah. Then we have a special guest, and it's not Kim because Kim's not here today. Kim's at a Bible study.
Love
Can
you,
believe
Kim.
that? She ditched us for a Bible study. That's not nice. She's helping people that are out of prison, and that's good for her, and it's good growth for her. So anyway, we have Carla here with us today. She came all the way down here from Eastland, even though it's actually in North Texas. Why would they call it Eastland? And maybe it should be Northland.
Central.
I bet it was a name.
It was a name. Oh, somebody else's name.
I bet it was a
Yeah.
last
It was.
name. Kind of like Brownfield.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
really?
wouldn't think, because it's so well named for that location.
Right.
But
It's a brown
it's a name.
field.
Oh, look, isn't it brown out there?
It's
Yeah, it
very.
is very
Okay.
brown.
And anyway, this is John over there. This is Carla's husband. Yeah, he's super outgoing. I mean, it's hard to get him to even be quiet for just a couple seconds, but he's trying. Anyway, so, Carla, why don't you say something about where we met?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where we met?
Absolutely. Yes.
It was a beautiful place.
Oh, yes. The San Saba unit. 2017, early 2017.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. I've been out and home for over almost 6 years, or 6 years, 6.5 years. Yep. Search for Significance, and you and George came in and brought music, and Alette. Was that her
Oh,
name?
yeah.
Mhm.
Prayers in the corner.
Alette, we
Helping
miss
out.
you.
We do miss you,
Yes,
Alette.
she was awesome. She was awesome.
Yeah, she was. We need to get her on a podcast.
That's it.
Yes, you
She's-
do.
Thanks for reminding us about her. But you know
Uh-huh.
what? We have missed her.
She was a sweetheart, and she actually wrote back. Several of
She
the ladies
did.
wrote to her
Yeah.
and sent prayers, and
Yeah.
she wrote back to them.
Yeah,
That's
she cared.
so important. Y'all coming in and bringing Jesus and making us laugh,
Huh.
because there's not a lot to laugh about it while you're there.
Well, there's a lot to laugh about. I mean, no, I better not go
You
there.
better don't. Yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah, better
We're trying to get into prison, not to get.
Get
Oh, the
banned.
food there is delicious.
Permanent
Yes,
ban from all
amazing.
Texas.
Permanent ban. Yeah, the food is delicious, especially there in
Amazing.
San Saba.
Right.
You know, it's a men's prison now.
hmm
Yeah.
It was a men's prison before.
It was. That's when I first
he
started out
started
there.
there.
Was a men's prison.
hmm
Then the chaplain said, "Hey, we're going to turn this into a women's prison. Do you want to stay?" And I said, "Well, okay. Girls need to hear about Jesus too." And I really rather deal with girls because they laugh at my jokes. Guys, they just sit there and look at you.
Like this.
hmm Like George.
Yeah, like George. Yeah, they just look at you weird. Yeah. So,
Just step your game up with the jokes.
That's right.
so in 2017, man, that was a long time ago. When'd you get out?
I got out at the beginning of 2019, but I went to a transitional house after a program, and I stayed there 60 days. So I was gone 2.5 years from my house.
Okay.
So I was arrested August 8th of 2016, and I got home in February of 19. So I only did 2.5 years.
Only 2.5
Yeah,
years.
I mean-
Yeah, it's like no big deal.
Yeah, 908 days, but I wasn't counting.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was every minute.
We just had somebody here a couple weeks ago, Audra, who actually knew exactly how many days too.
Yes.
Did
I
she say
bet
it
you
like-
know that number.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I'm not prison material.
Yeah.
I started following God while I was still in Eastland County Jail, and I wasn't real popular by the time I got to prison, and still trying to do the same thing. They you know, you're a follower of Jesus.
So
Yeah.
you came to know Jesus in county jail?
Yes.
Do they have orange suits there? in Eastland?
Well, orange stripes.
Orange stripes,
Mhm.
okay. With the
With
super good
stripes and
flip
solids.
flops?
Oh, yes, with the bright orange Crocs.
Oh, those are fantastic. Crocs.
Yes, yes. I still have my TDCJ Crocs.
You do?
Yes, John threw his away.
You did?
Yeah, no, I have the green cup sitting on my shelf with the spoon. This is a reminder that I will never go
So
back.
you stole stuff from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice?
No, I bought
You still got their
stuff.
flip flops?
Yeah,
We're
no,
not saying
they make you
anything.
buy those.
They do?
They, yes.
Okay, well then, yeah, you better take
and I
them.
can't believe people wear them for fun out here.
Huh.
I'm like,
Oh, that's
not
funny.
if I was going to a worm wrestle, would I put those on my
Huh.
feet? My mother-in-law wears them and has them in all colors. I'm like,
Oh, well, that's
no.
funny.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
no,
funny.
yeah, no.
So you don't decorate yours. That's the big thing that they do with the
I have a
little things
granddaughter
you,
that does.
Yep. Mhm.
We
You
have
know-
a granddaughter that has bling all over her
That's exactly
little
it.
Crocs.
We should
my
get some
my
of those.
18-year-old son does that too. Has weird little things sticking out.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Camouflage.
It almost made me scream when we paid $40 for a pair of, Crocs this big for the 3-year-old.
Yeah. We should get some of those and put them on the wall.
Oh no,
County stuff.
Yes,
that's
we should.
exactly
Yeah.
what I'm like. And they're
Got space.
So
Either
you
that
know
or a
something we
bear or a turkey.
Oh.
So
That would be good too. And you know something else we could do?
Crocs on
We
the
could
turkey.
get like all our guests. We could get like their rap sheet and stick it on the wall like wallpaper.
You really need a
Oh
little
man,
bit
that
more
would be
wall
super
space.
cool, wouldn't it?
or
With your
we can
mo-
have
oh.
everybody give us some like a relic or something from
A
their
relic.
prison time.
Oh,
and
I know it would be perfect. The little card, because
Mhm.
everybody's picture on that is fantastic.
Mine's in my wallet. That's when
You
it got
still
real.
have it?
Yes. I keep it as a reminder.
You do?
That's when it got real for me.
Yeah.
Is when they handed me that ID. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I have messed up
Yeah.
bad.
And then don't smile.
Yeah.
You know.
Look like, is this the person who murdered your child?
Yeah, I know. You, yeah. So in search for certificates, when everybody graduates, I always used to look at their cards before they give them their certificate, and somebody will like go, "I look like a serial killer." And I look at it, and think, "Man, you do, you do."
You kind of did you?
Yeah,
Did-
isn't that weird that they don't make you smile? They don't let you smile. No matter who has the mugshot, you look guilty,
yeah.
right? And I think they do it on purpose.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And you probably still know your number.
Oh yes.
Yeah, was
0291534.
wow.
Yeah.
I guess if you give that number out like
5 million times a day.
5 million times a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there are people that get it tattooed. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
no, I'm not taking that with me.
Cause I would never do that. Oh,
Um,
did you get that, John?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good.
No.
I got to be careful what I say because usually I say something, then you're like, "Hey,
Hey, no, he no, but I know his number too.
you do?"
He was locked up before I was.
Oh, where were you locked up?
Uh,
Oh, it's not even a podcast about you, John. But hey, you're here, so boom,
yeah,
Toya.
Tuya unit happened. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go to that place over there in Gatesville?
No, Hughes.
Use.
No, yeah, no.
Wow, that's a lot of people over there. Or Conley over there outside of San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a guy who works over there. It's a tough spot.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
he-
glad you're out, doing
Yeah.
good too. Yes,
almost off
yeah.
parole.
Almost off.
He is.
Oh, good.
Oh, I'm off.
Yeah,
I'm-
that'll be a
I'm-
great day. Oh, a couple more bucks, boom, finally get a raise.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Praise God. He's the only reason I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our sheriff changed in Eastland County. Instead of having to be off paper for 5 years, I had 3 different pastors from our church, the Woodbridge Church. John's wearing a hat from it. Go to bat for me. I said,
Okay.
I'll do strip searches. I'll do drug tests. I'll do whatever these ladies need to know. There's life after addiction and there's life after prison. But there's only one way
Yeah.
to achieve that. And hearing it from someone like me, and a bunch of the girls that I minister to there knew me from the other world.
Yeah. That's always great, right?
Yeah, well, they don't recognize me
Yeah.
Right.
until they're like, the other girls will be talking. Though that's actually what gets them to church on
Yeah.
Sunday. They're like, oh my gosh, it's Carla.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this.
And then when you tell people you're in prison, they're like, "No way."
the ones that are, just pulled over coming down I-20 that don't actually know me, they're the ones that do know me, though, are blown away.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. God did it. Because Carla was
Yeah.
a train wreck.
Yeah.
I was 8-time frequent flyer, 8
Eight?
felons,
What?
8 felonies.
8
Mhm.
felonies. That's a
All
nice.
within about 15 years.
Well, that's going to fill the wall up.
Yeah, that's why I said you're going to need
One
more
relic.
wall space.
One
One
relic
wall.
of guest.
Exactly.
You're going to need more wall space. Every one of them drug related.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, before you keep going, because I got some questions. I
Okay.
got some questions I want to ask you. And the reason why I want to ask you some questions is because this Jim from the gym,
Jim from the gym.
has, when Audrey was here, he's like, I wanted to ask questions, but you didn't ask the questions. I said, well, Jim, when I'm there, I mean, it's hard to, your brain is like, spinning a million miles an
Right.
hour, right? So, I don't have all the questions. So Jim from the gym actually texted me some questions, and really some really great questions.
They did.
So if you want to, like, when this is over with, if you want to say, oh, I wish you would have asked me this, yeah, don't send me nothing. No.
Right.
But if you want to ask me some questions, go right ahead and put them in the comments.
Right.
Yes, the comments, right, George?
Yeah, in the
I heard that
comments.
In the
today.
comments.
On the YouTube
On
channel.
YouTube.
Or the Facebook. Either way.
Or
We'll,
the
we'll see the
Facebook?
comments. We'll see the comments.
Hey, we're on Spotify now.
Or you can't really leave comments on Spotify.
You can't?
But
Okay.
I don't think
Okay.
there's a
I did
place.
not know
But
that.
it's awesome that you have that. I think my mom's listening to it on podcast.
Your
now,
mom?
'cause she
Rock out, Miss Gerganis.
There you go, Mandy.
Mandy, can I call her by her first name?
I think she would approve.
Mandy. George has been. No, I better not say that. better not go there.
George
Anyway,
is awesome.
George and
Mandy.
Mandy.
Don't listen to
My
him.
dad's George too. So,
Uh-huh.
so George and Mandy
That's awesome.
in the home group.
In the home
In the
group.
home group, all the peoples.
Yeah. And for everybody that's out of prison that doesn't watch this, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Come on. It's time to get back in your Bible and start doing things right. Let's go.
There you go.
Mhm.
For you girls that haven't seen me in a while, y'all got these sleeves. You know what?
Nice
If you
tattoo
can't-
work.
What do they say? If you can't beat them, you join them.
Is that what they say?
That's what
I
they
guess
say.
that is what they say.
Anyway, my wife got some too. Man, we're rocking it.
Matching tattoos.
We got
That's-
matching tattoos.
Was it a date? Tattoo date? Somebody was posting about a tattoo
Oh
date.
yeah, we go all the time.
I
Yeah.
love that.
The only- the bad thing about it is I spelt her name wrong once on my, but it's okay. I have her on the back. I have a tramp. What is it? I have a what?
A tramp stamp.
Tramp stamp.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
I
You-
don't have a tramp stamp.
Yeah, George doesn't have a trans, and I'm not going to
You should
show
be
your mind.
apologizing.
But hey, it is what it is. You can edit that out if you think
We're
your mom's
leaving
going to
that
get
in.
upset with that.
We're so leaving that in.
We're
Especially
leaving
the
that
part- Especially the part where you don't have one.
Okay, so
yes.
so I got questions for Carla from Jim from the gym. You ready, Carla?
I'm ready.
Okay, so first question is this. Were you when you came out? Or let's see, how can I ask this question? I asked it earlier. So Jim from the gym. Here's a question that Jim wants to ask you. What decision puts you on the path to prison? That actually is a good question.
Obviously, a bad decision.
Yeah.
The decision to use drugs, literally.
Okay, but then I'm going to add something because obviously I'm in this. I help people with their self-esteem. So, but there was something that made that you just don't all of a sudden do drugs. You don't just grow up. Most of the people don't just grow up and say, "Man, I can't wait till I get old enough to do drugs."
Right.
So, what caused the drug thing? Did you want to just fit in, or low
Kinda.
low self-esteem, or
Kinda.
just kind of? I think he's asking something like in depth of.
In depth, what caused it? I want to say I started smoking pot when I was about 19.
19?
Yeah, no, I was a late bloomer there.
Wow.
I really didn't start using methamphetamines till I was like 37
Really?
when I moved to Eastland.
Wow.
Yes. And it quickly spiraled. My last child left home, so I was kind of left to my own devices. My father passed away, and then the next 10 years was just straight into what captivity, because I was captive. I was kept in captivity before they actually picked me up and put me in jail or prison.
Yeah.
It was a prison of my own making.
So a friend, well, obviously not a friend. I mean,
Right.
you
Well,
think you're a friend.
at the time you thought it was a friend.
Yeah.
Till you go to prison, you find out you have no friends.
Yeah, isn't that? Oh, I'll write you. I'll
Oh,
do this. Never
yeah.
hear from them again until you get out.
Well,
Then they try to sell you more stuff.
right. Exactly. Well, getting out was even the weirder part. So you know who's waiting right outside those gates.
Yeah.
The enemy.
So was it, you know,
Kind of a boyfriend.
kind of a boyfriend?
I
Yeah.
just recently divorced, so it was a guy.
Okay.
And then,
Should we clarify it wasn't John?
no, it was not John.
Okay, it wasn't John.
Later, it was John. Yeah.
Way to go, John. John's kind of big, so I don't really want to jack with him too much.
Yeah. In 2011, we met while I was, selling him drugs. He went to prison in 2013, and I didn't go till. And he warned me. He's like, Carla, you keep doing what you're going to do. You're going to end
Yeah.
up going to prison. I'm like, no, can't happen to me. It's what I call terminal uniqueness.
Wow.
It was, I was above that. There's no way that I'm going. I have them all fooled.
Yeah.
I have recently ran into my probation officer and actually the head of probation department just a few weeks ago and had first I apologized. I thanked him for trying to save me from myself.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out how I could write as a felon to ladies that go to rehab. We have a rehab in San Angelo, but they don't allow felons to write them. I follow the ladies that leave our Eastland County Jail, but I can't to CRTC. And he's like, why not? I'm like, I don't know. I called your probation officer. She said, no, it wasn't possible. He just changed that.
Good.
So now I can.
Yeah.
Follow
There's
my
a lot
ladies
of people. There's a lot of felons that get out and turn their lives around, man.
Hello, we have
it's so powerful.
We have a president that's a felon. What I was telling you about Eastland County Jail, yeah. Eastland County Jail is that you were supposed to be off paper 5 years. And we changed sheriffs, and he was a believer.
Yeah.
So
Makes a big difference.
yes, it does. There's 3 pastors that went in and went to bat for me. And it got me in while I was still on parole.
Okay.
We've been doing it 2 years in October, and I didn't get off parole till last August.
That
It's
county
amazing.
jail. Yeah, the county jail though. This thing that bothered me about
Is that a new mouth?
It's with the new location, new mouth, new location.
I don't know. The thing about the county jail is I always thought that it was hard to talk to people because everybody was innocent. And, and then when you go to prison, everybody realized, not everybody, but most everybody realized, I did it.
I knew I was guilty in county.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let me go on. Let me go on some more questions. So, the decision to put you into prison, the path to prison, okay? Then how can someone facing similar challenges avoid the mistake you made? That's another. I'm telling you, man, this Jim from the gym has got some really good questions.
Maybe we need to
He
get
does.
Jim in here. He can be your little co-host.
No. We don't want
No,
Jim.
you
No,
don't
next
want
thing you
Jim.
know, this podcast is Mr. Amazing with Jim from the gym. Whoa. No, we're just, you know what? I should have just said I've got some questions and just throw Jim under the bus with
We
them.
don't know who Jim is.
Who's
His
Jim?
questions.
Jim and his questions.
Well-worded questions that are really
I
on
know.
point.
So earlier I was telling George, we read a couple of these questions. I said, George, I need to reword these so it makes it look
So
like
it sounds
they're
like
my
Tom saying 'em?
questions. Yeah, like, how could somebody who's really being stupid not go to prison? I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. So anyway, so how can facing the same challenges avoid the mistake you made?
Reach out for help. There's help. Call a church. Call a recovery group. There is, like, I call it our network of felons.
It's hard though. It's hard to do that. It's hard,
I
right?
wouldn't- Somebody told me the same thing, and you know, you don't want to be around straight people when you're high. You know, and high people don't want to be around straight people.
Yeah. And then you think everybody's judging you, and
Absolutely.
you know it's hard to walk in the church because Satan's in your ear telling you all sorts
You're
of
never
stupid
gonna
stuff.
make
and
it. Yeah.
You're not going to make it, or they're
Well,
going to
and it's-
judge you, or
Find the right church,
yeah.
because one of our pastors has never done a drug in his life. I've never been made to feel less than.
Yeah.
I'm loved. I'm welcomed. Everybody knows my past. There are some of the jailers that, were jailers when I was there that come to our church.
Yeah.
and they were
Well,
welcoming.
what's crazy about your church is I know all the songs that they're going to play the night before.
I know, and amazing.
I'm just like, who does that? She goes to a church to where they know the songs like she said. Oh, tomorrow morning's worship is going to be
They haven't
boom,
posted
boom,
on
boom,
Facebook.
boom, boom.
They haven't posted.
Oh, they
on
haven't.
Facebook.
I thought you were doing that.
No, I share them.
Oh,
Yeah, I just share what comes off the
Okay.
Woodbridge Church. Yeah,
all right.
and our worship leader is somebody who spent time at my house
Oh,
10 years
really?
ago. He
Spend
was
time
all-
at your house. Oh, boy,
Doing
we might not
thing-
want to say anything when John's here.
But well, no, he knows they're wrong. Doing the wrong things at my house, but not one of them was not me. He actually
Okay.
went to he actually went to church.
Well, this is going to be a tough one for your mom.
I'm leaving everything in. So,
He
again.
actually, we were in church together. He saw my name on the volunteer list at church, but Pastor Jared got a hold of us. Said, "Can you write down like 10 sentences? Just give us a little bit of your, testimony." He asked John and I both, and when Jared read my testimony, our worship leader Dusty was like, "That's Carla."
Yeah.
Oh, 2 plus 2 made 4.
Yeah. But you know what's super cool about that is Jesus has turned it around, and then what a great testimony.
A
And then
ton.
you know what? I'd like a church to where you can spit out what's gone wrong and you know
Own it.
that God's forgiven you and nobody's judging you.
Yep.
There's so many people nowadays that are afraid to share what's going on, and you wonder why the Holy Spirit's not moving in their church.
Exactly.
It's just because everybody's pretending to be something that they're not. Hey, I'm
Exactly.
perfect. I don't have any problems. Well, you know what? You tell me you don't have any problems. That just says to me you're a liar and you
And
got
you're in-
tons of problems.
Well, we just tell them you're
You
going to
know?
mess up what we got going on
Yeah.
here. You know, if you think you're perfect, then
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to mess up what we got going on at this church.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. I mean, a lot of us, but they're afraid to come forward
They
for
are.
that reason.
They
because
are.
they feel like they're going to be judged.
And it's no different than the search for significance, right? Because a lot of
Right.
people have low self-esteem and they're afraid what everybody else is going to think. You know, for me, it's like, when I tell girls and guys, I say, well, anything I say, you can repeat it because it doesn't bother me because I already know
Hello.
that
Yeah,
it's
you're
not my
tell-
performance, it's his performance.
The right.
So it's okay. But
Exactly.
I mean, when you're just a beginning Christian, sometimes it's hard to
Step
share
out.
that. But I'm telling you, what's super great about that is there's somebody in your church that is struggling with something, and they just need to hear it. You've seen it. You've seen
I've-
it in the prison system,
I
sitting around
have
talking,
lived it now.
and somebody says something, and somebody else is like, "Oh my God, that happened to you." It's like, yeah, it happens to a lot of people.
We've got one lady that came up to me. She said her sister had been in addiction. Ironically, this girl
Mhm.
right now is in prison, or Safe P. We had the same birthday. We did drugs together. When she heard Pastor Jared put me up on stage and just asked me a few questions, and she said, when I heard that, I had hope
Yeah,
for my sister. And
yeah,
we started a friendship a few months ago when her sister came through county jail that it bonded us.
yeah.
She's like, just hearing your story and seeing you and watching you, that she had never come up and talked to me
Yeah,
until her sister was in jail.
Yeah.
Then she was like, hello, can you help? I'm
Yeah.
like, all I can do is be an example of what God's done, because
Yeah.
Carla didn't do it.
yeah,
Carla can't. I'm like, it's not false humility. I tried.
yeah.
And in left to my own devices,
It's way better. Jesus says, "My yoke
oh
is
my
light."
gosh.
And you're like, yeah, it is light when you realize it's not you, it's him. It's not your performance, it's his performance. It's just so, freeing. Now I still bog myself up, but
Hello.
it's my
Yeah.
stupid self that does it. But I
Right
run
between
back
my
to
ears.
Jesus no matter what. And guess what? He's still there. Say, come on, let's
All
go.
right,
It's
I know.
okay.
Yeah, I know
And
what
it's
you
just-
did.
it's-
Come on.
I know, but then there's always the people that are like, oh, yeah, whatever, man. That's why I need Jesus.
Exactly.
All right,
I tell people I didn't get perfect. I got clean.
yeah. Well, technically, you got perfect.
I did.
but-
My spirit is.
Yeah, spirit is. You ready for another question, George?
Let's do it.
Jim's got
Okay.
a question for you.
Oh,
Oh,
crud. You didn't give me
good.
any warning on
I
this.
know.
Are you going to
That-
read
that-
it like Jim or are you going to read it like Tom?
No, let me read it like Jim. He didn't read it. He didn't have any questions for you.
I was
He's only got questions for Carla.
That's good.
How can somebody? Oh no. So, what are the hardest adjustments to make once you get out? That is another. I mean, telling you, man, Jim's got some questions. I'm stealing.
It was.
I wonder if he's got them copyrighted.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably
So what are
vague
the
enough
hardest
to give it.
adjustments?
Well, I
Hey,
can't.
hang on a second. John, you all right? You doing okay over there? All right, good.
Passed
We
out
don't
yet.
want to just leave John out. Hey,
No.
John, a couple episodes ago, did you ever throat punch anybody while you were in prison?
He's like,
You didn't throat punch him? Okay. Well, we don't.
he was, G4'd once or twice.
There were other
yeah.
punches.
G
Yeah.
Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda broke somebody once.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, John. He's kind of, like I say, he's kind of a big guy.
Yeah, he is.
But I've been working out,
He's a big teddy bear.
and I got these new sleeves, so that's intimidating. Okay,
It
so
is
let me get back
it
to
is
that
so
question.
intimidating.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry, you didn't realize you were going to be on this.
didn't.
Yeah, wait until Carla gets up. We'll sit you in that chair.
Yeah.
Wait until
Don't
you
talk him into
your
it. He
turn.
said no.
Yeah.
He
What's he going to do?
He steadily reassured me. He's like, "You got this." I'm like, "You can sit right over here next to me. Your testimony is more powerful than mine."
We'll give him a chance. We'll get him over here in a little while. So anyway, so yeah, it's nervous, but then once we start talking, it's no big deal,
No.
right? It's easy. Okay, so what's the hardest adjustments you had to make once you got out?
Coming home to nothing, and every temptation that I left behind was all waiting right there when I got out. Literally, I was home 2 days. I dumped a bag out of stuff that was in my carport. There were people living in my house. I had to get out. Carport, the house was trashed, to put it politely. They did the best they could. I still had a house to come to, so I was super grateful for that. But one of the first bags I dumped out had a fully loaded meth pipe in it.
Wow,
I'm like,
fully loaded.
Just
Like,
ready to go.
probably $50 worth of dope in it. And I'm like, the lady there said, "Well, just throw it away." I'm like, "Okay." The attic knows where the trash can is.
Yeah.
I took it out to the end of the driveway, crushed it, just crushed it into a million pieces. They were smoking pot when I got out. I'm like, "Come on, Satan."
Yeah.
He knew every chink in my armor.
Yeah.
The lady couldn't get moved until she could get rid of her pills. I'm like, 2 phone calls. I could have done that. I just had to keep digging into the word. Like, no. Satan was like, "Are you serious about this Jesus thing?"
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously serious.
Yeah.
Are you willing to live without electricity? Is what came next. Financial, not having a job, not having a car. I live in a very small community, and a mile from the town. So it would have meant walking. There were just tons of challenges. But God is what I say. But God. I started going to an awesome AA group. Somebody called me and said, "You got your license, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." That was one of the first things I got back. Don't have a car, but I have a license. Called and asked me to drive his mother to a dental appointment. That
Okay.
worked into housekeeping. She fell and broke her hip. It worked into health care. Dad had dementia. I
Wow.
was running 3 shifts of healthcare workers at the household. I've kind of been adopted into the family, and I still clean for him. God literally, without a car, his brother said, "I got an extra car sitting out here. It'll get you to and from work." I was like, "Can I take it to Walmart?" He was like, "Yes, you can. Just be careful."
They even got a Walmart in that little teddy town?
Yes, we do. I live in large, super
Yeah,
Walmart.
Super Walmart. Wow.
Yeah, it stays open till 11 now, I think.
Oh, it does? Okay,
Since
that's funny.
COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
What's worse is I used to shop there at all hours before
Yeah.
COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
And in my addiction, now I'm like, it's dark. You want to go where?
That's what
I'm
happens when you get
home.
older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm home. So there were a lot of challenges, but I can literally say God laid it out like manna
Yeah.
every day. There were days that, an hour before the water was going to be cut off. My sponsor from AA said, "Okay, I got you. I'm on my way." It got the job, got her paid back. But I call it, but God.
Yeah.
God had a plan all along to use what I did to destroy my life for His glory.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's mind blowing to me still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Let
still.
me not call a timeout, but I want to share some things. Is that okay?
Please.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
I say no.
So, you may be sitting in a prison system right now, and you may be in a dorm, and you may not be feeling it. You may be nervous about getting out. You could be 2-3 days from coming out, a week from getting out, 2 weeks from getting out, a month from getting out, and you are nervous because I have seen people be nervous before. Let me rest assured that there are going to be people there that are going to try to tempt you. I saw somebody get out of county jail. They walk down the street. Next thing you know, there's a guy selling drugs. The thing about what Carlos just got done saying is, 2 days. 2 days. Sometimes it's not 2 days. Sometimes it's as soon as you get off the
Couple hours,
bus, right? Then all of a sudden,
Or at the bus station.
or at the bus station.
Yeah.
But it could be as simple as that. And the thing about it is, yes, you got a fully loaded crack pipe right there ready to go. Yeah, not coincidence. Satan's got that going. She could have easily went back and smoked that, and she could have been back into prison within a month.
Less.
Maybe less
Yeah.
than that.
Less
And
than
you
a
know
month.
what? Maybe we wouldn't be talking to Carla right now because she'd be even spending more time in the prison system. Yes? And I'm
Mhm.
telling you what, it's not
Absolutely.
worth it. So what
No.
she's saying is,
Don't
you
fall
just
for the enemy's attacks.
exactly, you got
'Cause
to
that's-
put your trust in Christ no matter what, even if you
Stand
don't have
firm.
electricity, even if you don't have any water, it's not worth it because guess what? God's going to come through for you
Yes, he will.
just to encourage you.
Yes,
It's okay. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to encourage you.
absolutely.
Because if it's happening to Carla, it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to us. We all face temptations, but man, I got to stand on the blood of Christ. That's what
Exactly.
I have to do every single day.
I tell the girls in county jail, I'm like, get armored up before those
Yeah.
doors open because the doors are going to open and Satan's waiting right there outside those doors with everything you ever wanted. It's like, what will it take? $1 million? No, here. How about
Yeah.
a meth pipe?
Have $50.
Yeah. How about a meth pipe
Yeah.
with $50 worth of? I had a choice to make,
Yeah.
and looking back, of course, I saw that. At the time when I was panicking about the water bill,
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing on your word, even if I live in the dark.
Yeah.
That didn't work. My health got took out. I think I had COVID before COVID was cool.
Really?
Didn't have a phone yet. Didn't have a ride to ER. I'm like,
Hmm.
Satan's going, you know what'll make you breathe better? Those methamphetamines open
That's
your.
not going to make you breathe better.
It will.
Oh.
It opens your bronchial tubes. It
Does it?
dilates them.
Does it?
Yep.
I don't know. I never
I'm
had
like-
COVID, and I don't want COVID, but I didn't know one of the remedies was meth.
It helps with any congestion.
It does?
Yeah, it's
So
just a
we're going to have
bronchodilator.
to. I don't know how you edit that. That is, yes,
Not the way to go.
that's not the
Trust
way
me.
to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll set you in prison.
Yes.
That will,
And
yeah.
all the right thoughts were there. Dig into the word. By your stripes, I'm already healed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I die right now. Absent from this body is present with the Lord.
Yeah. You just got to stay focused, and it's not easy to do. It's
no,
not easy to
no,
do.
you got to dig and stand.
And stand. What are you thinking, Kim? Burley? What do you think about that? I know you're just like, I wish I was there. I
wish
know.
was
We
here
wish you were
too.
here too, but you're not here. It's, Anyway, what
She'll
do you got,
appreciate it.
George? You got something before I keep going with these questions? Because Jim from the gym has really knocked it out of the park.
I really appreciate your the terminal uniqueness.
Yes.
You want to talk about that for a second? What that means? I
will
I get
literally
it. No,
kill
I
you.
like that.
It will literally kill you. You're thinking, I can't get caught. I won't die. Like Eve, surely you won't die. God's got you convinced that enemies got you convinced that you can continue just doing what you're going to do. They're not going to catch you. You're slick.
Because that is so. I
It-
mean, that's the way we go about life
Yes, it
sometimes, or at
is.
least I
Yes.
do. Where it's just like, no, it's never gonna happen to me,
Right.
and that's
it
what
can't
it is. But
possibly. I'm above that. Yeah.
and I think one thing I've learned going to prison is, wow, so many of these people are exactly like me, just one turn away, or
Right,
or
or
one
just-
mistake caught, or
Right.
whatever it might be. Honestly, And
Exactly.
but that terminal uniqueness, I was like, that's
That is
worded
the-
very very well.
It is awesome.
It's a
That's
horrible
because-
horrible way to go about
to
it.
think
but
about it, but yeah, think about the people that die in their
Yeah,
addiction, thinking
absolutely.
that can't possibly happen to
Right.
me. I won't ever do that. I can't get caught.
Right.
Like I said earlier, John tried to warn me before he got caught up that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you're going to keep doing what you're doing, you're going to eventually get caught and go to prison. I'm like, no.
But going to prison, is it really that bad? The food is delicious.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
all these other buddies there with you.
Yeah, and they're
the
so sweet.
accommodation and the accommodations. I mean, you got this nice little bedroll that's like paper thin, no
Right,
pillow,
lumpy.
lumpy.
Yeah.
They're always waking you up, asking if what count time.
Right.
I mean, people are caring about you, banging on the
Yeah.
door, saying, "Hey, who are you still in here?" I mean, you get to go outside every once in a great while if it's not too hot, if you even have air conditioning. So they're
Right.
training you how to manage when you get out when you don't have any electricity.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
that was nearly a possibility.
I mean, there's a lot of great things going on in the prison.
Yeah. No, not one thing.
Now, well, that's
Search for
sarcasm.
Yeah, I know. Search
Because
for
how many times have
significance.
George and
great.
I said, the only people that want to be here right now is us.
Right. Yeah,
We
that's the
don't,
best.
we don't get as many jokes as you or laughs as you think when we say that.
Yeah, we
y'all
don't
get
get
to
hardly
walk
any
out.
laughs.
Y'all get to walk out.
But
And
there are some volunteers, and there are some people that care, and
There
there are
were.
some chaplains that care. And,
well, that was what
you know.
y'all were some of those people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
The reckless love of God. I still remember the first time I heard
Wish
it.
I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
I didn't.
yeah, yeah. You play it good though.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
that
you
was the
do.
first time I heard it. Was in San Saba,
Yeah,
and at not one
That was
time.
the first place I played it.
Mhm.
Was actually
Every time I hear it, I'm like, "Ooh, George."
it's
Yep.
George.
It's
It's-
George.
It's funny because it fits in the prison system. It fits so perfectly in the prison system. But then people at some churches they won't play it because they just can't get past the reckless love of
Yeah,
God.
there's.
And you know what? That's fine if that's what they want to do. But when you're in the prison system, it makes perfectly good sense.
the fact that it doesn't make sense makes sense.
right.
Yes.
You know that
Right.
God
Yeah.
that God cherishes you too. You know, it's like obviously He cherishes these people that have made all the good
Yeah.
not mistakes, and then to be like the ones that are serving hard time for
Yeah.
bad decisions and have cost lives or whatever it might be. That
Mhm.
And you feel
it seems a
alone.
little reckless
Yeah,
that God is
it's true.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. All right, let's go back to Jim and the Jim. Jim, if you don't watch this podcast, it's going to be really embarrassing. I know he's going to watch it.
Just keep
He's been
sending it
super
to me.
faithful at it. He's been good at it. He's very encouraging. Okay, so the hardest adjustments, right? That is a tough adjustment. Leaving with nothing and then having to manage that. But like you said, you know what? God always comes through.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't look like he's going to come through, but he always does when you stand back and look at it. So
I
you got to trust in God.
had a mind-blowing day that proved it. There was a trash pile at my house that was probably about 3 car lengths long and wide and about that tall. A friend of mine came by and said, "Sorry, I didn't send you any soups. I didn't send you money for soups." He's like, "Come on, we're going to Walmart to get $1,000."
Mm.
I'm like, "Cleaning supplies, thank you." We went to Walmart. While I was gone, I had put a post on Facebook saying, "Hey, I need pots, pans, glasses, silverware, anything. You got it? Please drop it off at my house." While I was at Walmart, my sponsor shows up with a 16-foot trailer and truck, and her and her husband are loading all the trash when an old friend who had gotten out of the game, works for the post office now. I don't know how we didn't pass her at Walmart, dropped off pots, pans, and dishes for me.
Mm.
While I was at Walmart, 3 people in one day. God, and I know that could have only come from God.
Yeah.
Only come from God. You don't know where your help's going to come from.
Yeah.
Get your Psalms 121.
Yeah.
The maker of the hills
Mm.
provided.
Some good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what? If you would have smoked that weed and you would have done that crack, that would have never would have happened. You'd have
Nope.
missed it. You would have missed a giant blessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just like a tip of an iceberg.
Yeah.
The things that God has blessed me with because I stayed faithful.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, let me tell you about my Jesus, I could go on
Let
and on
me
and
tell
on.
you about my Jesus. Don't worry,
yes.
Kim. I'm not going to quit my day job. That's our little joke. All right, let's go back some more questions. We good with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you well received by the general public once they know your story? We kind of talked about that. Some of the churches, they probably receive you, but, there may be other people that don't.
They're the ones that aren't reading the same book I am.
Yeah. But the general public,
Right. Well, the
most people
general.
don't know, though, do they?
Well, yeah, I was kind of a busy girl in Eastland County for
Oh,
about 17 years.
yeah. So maybe they
Uh,
do know.
yeah, they knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking they didn't at the time, but yeah,
Yeah.
they knew. I either the people that really avoid me or the people that don't want to talk about God or recovery.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them are just, I've had total strangers walk up to me in Walmart and they're like, oh, I heard your testimony. That was just amazing. I'm so
Yeah.
proud. I'm like, Carla, nice to meet you. Because
Yeah.
I had no idea who they were. They, I still have people that walk up to me in Walmart and they're like, how you, they're still living that in the world. And they're like, how's it going? I'll sit there and be like, John's like, who is it? I'm like, I have no clue.
I have no idea.
Keep walking. Keep
Just
walking
keep
fast.
walking.
Yeah, because we're not part of that anymore. And more people recognize him, of course, than they do me. I've gotten older, fatter. Yeah.
Who hasn't? Well, Kimberly hasn't.
Kimberly hasn't.
Yes, she hadn't. But yeah, okay. So I think the general public, once you share your story, most people are receptive to it,
Right.
right? Even the people that are still doing the drugs, they're receptive to it. They're just
Though I'm not ready to hear the
I
a way
think
out
they
yet.
want to hear it, but they just don't know how to get out. They're afraid to get out, or maybe they don't
Hey,
want it. Maybe they just don't want to.
I wanted out. Like you said, I didn't really know a way out. So I cried out to God, and then I got sat down
So were you one of those that cried out to God and then the sheriff knocked your door down?
twice.
Twice, okay.
yeah.
What, they couldn't make it through the front door, so they went up the back door?
No, they knocked my bedroom door down the first time and put me on probation. Second time
Oh,
was
okay.
on my motion to revoke. They sent a snitch in with an audio wire and marked money. And there was kind of no denying that, So when I got to county, that I'm sorry, I'm not guilty, I'm not guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was guilty of sin.
I hate it when I'm not guilty and then they show the video of me being guilty. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah,
You know?
I was guilty.
That's just like, yeah, that's not me. Oh, really? Who is it? It's
Hey,
Sam
other guy.
Elliott. What
that
do you think it is?
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Well, you'll hear people that'll only sign for the 12 years because they were, saying I'd get 20 instead. When they made it, why would you sign if you weren't
Yeah,
guilty?
I would never do that.
I don't know because I was always guilty.
They could, yeah, but they could, they give you some people, they give you some guilt trips. All right, so once the general public, once they know your story, a support group, family, or friends is important to everyone. Yes,
Absolutely.
right? You got to have a support group.
We have
w-
a addiction recovery
Yeah.
Bible study at our church.
Yeah, and you
And
know what? You need to get involved. You need.
that's
How many
the-
times have I said it? You got to get involved
That is
somewhere.
the key to
It is the
right
key.
there.
Not only get involved to help you, but you get involved to help other
others.
people.
Right.
And then for some reason, like money, I don't, when you go to church, and they're always asking, not saying they're asking for money at your church or George's church, but more George's church than your church. Maybe not. But
it's our form of worship.
yeah,
Is
and that's
offering.
and I'm okay. I mean, I get that.
Right.
But for me, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but once I got involved, especially with the ministry, you saw the need, so it was easier to give money. Because
Yes.
now you're thinking, okay, now I
Now
get
I
it.
get it.
When somebody's
Right.
complaining that their parking lot needs to be paved and there's hungry people, I'm kind of like, I
Yeah,
don't know
no.
that. Even though I know the parking lot needs to be taken care of, I get that. But when you get involved and you see people that don't have shirts or don't have shoes or don't have socks or need something to eat, it's so much easier to give the money to it because now you're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm
People
not saying
still
get
just
involved
coming
so
out
you
of
can give your
prison.
money. I'm just saying get involved because it'll change who you are. Like it seems like when Debbie and I have issues, if I start to help other people, my issues have a tendency to disappear.
That's
Isn't that
completely.
Right?
You can't
So-
out bless God either.
You can't outbless God. And I know
Mm-hmm.
that when I say go to church, because you know what, where am I going to church, right? So I kind of feel like a hypocrite about that. But I'm going to church in the
In the
prison
prisons, yeah.
systems, right?
So,
So we're
yeah.
doing that.
You go to church at Woodson,
Woodman.
Woodman. You go,
Woodman and,
you
yeah,
go to church at
Lockhart.
San Saba, Lockhart.
Yeah, I
Right.
know, but I get
I
that, but
understand what
not
you're
like
saying.
you think like every
Right.
Well,
Sunday,
and
but-
we have a bumper sticker on the car out there that it says, "Go to read your Bible, pray, go to church, be the church." Our church is called the Woodbridge Church, but we are the church. We have our meeting in the Graham building
Right.
because what you're doing is being the church.
Yeah.
You're
But you-
not. Church isn't a building.
No, I get that, but I'm trying to, I'm trying to say, hey, look, when you get out, you got to get plugged in somewhere because you're going to get plugged
Quickly.
in somewhere. You're
Right.
either going to
It's
get
just a
plugged into
matter of
wrong or you're going to get plugged
which-
into good.
Right.
So we might as well get plugged into the good. You need a bumper sticker that says, I saw this the other day. I'm driving down the street and it says, honk if you love Jesus. I beep, beep, beep. And they turn around and flip me off. I'm like, what's going on with that? They forgot they had that bumper sticker on their car. They didn't.
Being annoying.
Yeah. I knew you looked familiar, John.
That would have been him. That would have been him. We just
No,
picked up.
that would
somebody.
probably be something I do. Why are they honking at me? Oh, you got to honk if you love Jesus.
Forgot I had that.
Forgot I had that. But a good support group is
Right.
very
Well,
helpful.
Yes.
And you could see it, the people that get out of prison, when they do have a good support, they have it a lot easier. But there's a lot of people that burn every bridge, every single bridge. But
Wow.
the one bridge that they didn't burn is the one with Jesus.
The Wood
You
Bridge.
have that one right there, the one that
Exactly.
matters.
We just picked up somebody at the Lindsay State Jail unit. His wife, I baptized his wife, and her husband was baptized on the other side at the county jail. I was able to pick her up when she left Plain State. She bussed into Abilene. We brought her home, got her into some transitional housing. She's got her own house now. So by the time her husband got out, first day out, his ID, he doesn't have his birth certificate ID. John took him to work and provided just a little bit of help. My pastor messaged me about the same time you did last night and said, hey, what was his name again? Shoot me the number. Because that's what you're called to do.
Yeah.
Pull them in, get them involved. Because like you said, they're going to get involved in something.
Yeah. Here's what happened to me, John. If I help somebody like that, I get pulled over and get a ticket. And then I think, no good deed goes unpunished. Sorry, that's just me. Hope you didn't get a ticket. Where am I going with that? That was ridiculous, wasn't it, George?
You're on your own.
I'm
out there.
glad you're starting to laugh at my jokes. Joey's laughing at my jokes.
Uh-huh.
I gave him a guilt trip. He's not. His leg ain't shaking today either, so I don't know what's up with that. All right, let's move on. Jim's
Okay.
got Jim must have texted us. His thumb must have hurt because he's got a lot of questions
It's
here.
probably voice to text.
Yeah, oh, he probably was. No, but nothing spelt wrong.
Oh.
Well, I guess I wouldn't know if it was or not. So
Put your glasses on,
yeah, let me
Claudio.
put my glasses on. Okay, what would you tell someone? Which Carla, look into that camera right there. It's this one. Look into that camera and tell someone who was headed down the wrong path that was not told to you. Let's see. What would you tell somebody who is headed down the wrong? I shouldn't have said it, Jim, because this question doesn't make any sense. But what would you tell somebody who's headed down the wrong path that
Wasn't
was
said
not
to me.
told to you? Right? Like somebody's headed down the wrong path and I'm not totally sure. Sometimes you're heading down the wrong path no matter what anybody says, they're just not going to listen.
Right.
But there's got to be something, just look in the camera and encourage somebody.
There's not a clear-cut method, I guess, is reach out. There are people that care. You just have to find the right people that care. I wasn't ready to hear that. When they say it takes what it takes, it drove me crazy. Stop what you're doing right now and reach out. Reach out to a church. Reach out to me. It's Carla Fox Stevens on Facebook. I'll talk to you. I'll help you in any way that I can.
Wow.
I'll throw it out there. I mean, God pulled me out of that mire and that muck so that I could turn around and say, hey, there's help. But you just have to ask.
Gotta ask.
And until you ask,
Yeah.
people aren't going to. I can also say I've never argued anybody into sobriety, and I've never argued anybody into the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
I would like to take their and stuff their heads in that water trough and
Yeah.
just if you had any idea how
I know
good
it. I
life
know
is
it.
on
It
this
could be
side.
so better. I know it.
Do I have everything I want? No, because I'm a
No.
wanty person.
Yeah. Well,
I
everybody is.
got everything I need beyond
Yes.
measure.
Yeah.
Beyond measure.
But you'd be surprised what God's got for you in the future too.
He's got a plan.
Okay, that's good. So next question is what? Now this is an easy question. This is the easiest question here. What is your real hair color? No, I'm just kidding. It was like,
Apparently it's
how
a-
has prison changed your life?
You better behave.
I'm just so
John's
glad you're
cracking
here.
jokes over here. No
What'd you
wonder
say?
George still isn't laughing at my stuff. Okay, so how has
Hope that couch is comfortable.
That's funny, isn't it, John? I like John. He's a
Okay.
funny guy.
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Tonight.
He's laughing at my stuff. How has prison changed your life?
Woo.
Now, for me, I know that prison changes people's lives. So people are like, oh, to go to prison. But no, sometimes prison's the greatest thing to ever happen to people. But how
Hello.
has it changed your life?
It saved my life.
Saved your life.
Literally saved my life.
So you're saying that
I
if you
would've
didn't go to
died.
prison, you may have like overdosed, been dead. That would have been the end of it.
Absolutely.
And then if you didn't really go to county jail, you may have never trusted Christ.
Right. Well, I went to county jail while I was waiting to go to prison, and I wanted to die rather than just to face actually having to go to TDCJ.
Yeah.
Like I said, when they handed me that ID, I was like, I just shame, regret washed over me.
Feel like you're a failure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I felt it. I knew I was.
Yeah.
I knew I was. I had let people down. I had just destroyed what God had given me. It saved my life. There's, like I said there earlier, there's not a doubt in my mind that they used all of Eastland County judicial system just to pick me up.
Yeah.
They gave me chance after chance. Probation, it's a setup for failure. No, it wasn't. Probation gave me more chances than I deserved. And as a result, the further I went down. I've had a chance to thank my probation officer and say, hey, you tried, I wasn't having it.
Yeah.
Head of probation, same
That
thing.
is so nice. to
He was
say
like,
that, right?
well-
Encouraging to him too.
Oh, yeah, well, running into head of probation, I'm cleaning somebody's house. I got a holy shirt on, hair piled up on my hair, cleaned up 20 years worth of lint out of the bottom of somebody's dryer. And I walk into the courthouse, and this is the only person I ran into was head of probation. And he's like, yeah, we knocked heads once or twice. I'm like, yeah, you think? He's like, I can't believe the difference.
Yeah.
And it ended up with several phone calls. He called me later that night. Our recovery group is called The Vine, staying connected to the Vine.
Okay.
If you read your Bible, sobriety is a byproduct of it. It blew me away that he called. One of the people in the Vine is also a lawyer, and he's like, did he get a hold of you? I'm like, oh, I wonder where he got my number. It's on Facebook, and what I just did then,
Yeah.
I will share my phone number, my information, whatever. You recover loudly so that people see that.
I'll tell you what, if you want to get a hold of Carla, then do you put it in the comments or do you email us? And if you email us, I'm not totally sure what our email is. So how would you do that? Because you know, how would you? You know what? Why don't if you want to get a hold of Carla,
I have
you just
email.
put it in your comments in the comments of this video, and we'll figure out how to get Carla in contact with you.
Yes.
Right? Because that would just be great. If you're struggling right now, and if you're just happen to be
Reach
picking
out.
this up, you're just going through YouTube, and all of a sudden, who's this Mr. Amazing character?
What the
and
heck
next
is
thing,
this that I'm
what
watching?
is this? And next thing you know, you're thinking, man, that guy looks like Sam Elliott. And you want to just watch it for a little while, and you
Silver
realize that there's
Fox.
somebody there that's on this podcast is willing to help you get it together,
Yeah.
to
it's not
share the
easy.
gospel with you, to share the hope and the love and how it could be different. And if you want to die,
Right.
it's nice to have somebody who's wanted to die before, but now is so glad that they're alive. And we've heard that from Kim too.
That's, well, I mean, I literally hit my knees in county and said, Jesus, just kill me. Take me now.
Yeah.
I want to
Jesus,
die.
kill me.
Yeah. And he said, get up.
He's
My
like,
child,
"No."
I can work with that.
Yeah, I can
You,
work with
you're
that.
going to die
Yeah.
to yourself.
Yeah, because the new life you got, there's no death in that.
Nope. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, so prison has changed your life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
In a positive way.
I would have never believed that I would have uttered those words while I was there.
Yeah.
You know, is that prison saved my life.
And then the thing about you, because there's a lot of people that go to prison, they get Jesus there, and that's fine, man. I'm glad people getting Jesus there. And then you know what? You get out and you kind of dropped him off at the door.
Yep.
But the thing about Jesus is, you may have dropped him off at the door, but he didn't stay at the door.
No.
He's following you around. He still lives inside you. And you know what? You wonder why the drug deal is not the drug deal, but the drugs isn't the same as it used to be. It's because now you got Christ living inside you, and now it's worse because he is fighting for you.
Yeah, conviction.
And the alcohol, man, and all the other stuff. He is downright giving it his best shot. He is throat punching. The throat punching that Satan.
Or Jesus
Well, here
has
it
your
is.
back.
Or
It's
yeah,
just-
Jesus
here it
has
is.
got your back right here. He's got
Exactly.
Satan in a headlock. That
it.
is really nice, George.
That's it.
Mhm,
We should.
I liked it.
we should sell
Wow.
these.
You guys are
We should sell them.
giving me a
hmm
guilt trip and not wearing those.
Yep. You should
That's
be.
all right.
You're advertising for Carhartt. Should be Jesus advertising.
Carhartt.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
hey,
like, what am I wearing?
hey,
Yeah.
my sleeves are falling down.
That's some-
Tattoos are
That's some
sliding
shoddy
off.
Well, that's some
tattoo
really
work you
bad
got
tattoo
done,
work.
man.
It's starting to
I've
fall off my
Honestly,
shirt.
never seen that happen
Oh,
before.
I've never seen that happen
Most
before.
ink doesn't
So,
run.
I don't
Most
know.
ink doesn't run
These
like
colors
that.
don't run.
And we're gonna leave
His
that
colors
too. We're
run.
not gonna cut that.
Never.
Yeah.
Cut anything.
We don't cut anything. All right. Well, that's good because you know what? Prison's changed my life too, and I never even been there. I never lived there. I have been there
You
many
don't have a number.
times,
Yeah.
but it's changed my life. And I've said this many times. That Bible has changed since I've been in the prison system because every story fits.
Yes.
Every single story.
Every single story.
Every single story.
And it's amazing to me. You can read that one story. You can read it today. Go back and read it 5 years later, and it's like, okay, who put this in here?
Yeah.
Did you know the bronze snake had a name
Huh.
in the Old Testament? I'm like, what? It hadn't. Wait a minute, that wasn't in there. Yes, I
Well.
can't pronounce the name, but I'm.
Oh, you can't.
yeah.
Oh, just leave us on the hook. Hey,
it's in
you can
there.
look it up
It's in-
yourself.
It's in Kings.
There you
yeah,
go.
It's
but
it's
the-
somewhere in the Old Testament.
right.
Right in the
It's-
middle.
First
right in the middle.
Kings.
Of
I'll
the-
tell you what, George's mom and the group, figure it out and put it in the comments.
Right. It's got
We're
a
giving you
weird
some
name.
homework.
There it is.
Yes?
Mhm.
I love
But-
that.
I know I've read Kings 3 or 4 times, never noticed it.
Yeah, there's a
Like-
lot of things that I've done that.
And when you
Mhm.
reread it, and it's like suddenly it's just applicable to
Right,
where you
it's
are in your
like,
life,
yeah.
and you're like, wow, I didn't.
Wait a minute,
see
how
how
did
I-
I miss? Did he just
Right.
put this in here? When
That's
they say it's alive and breathing, it
Yeah,
Yeah.
Literally.
yeah.
Living
there's
word.
no doubt about it. We're doing that all the time. We're like, man, I've never even seen that before.
Right.
I've never seen this before. Look at it from a different angle.
Absolutely.
Different things that we're looking at. Okay, so the prison has helped you, which is great.
yeah, I wouldn't tell TDCJ that, but yes,
I know, but you know, if they made it absolutely fantastic, then why would everybody
right,
want to be there?
yeah, 3 hots
You know, but
and
it
a
is
cot.
prison, and you know, I've seen some stuff that but I've seen a lot of good things too.
Yeah,
And you know what? I have said it, and I think George has been there too. I've actually, I've seen a lot of great guards. I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
a lot of guards that were
Oh, yeah.
there doing ministry work. Right? That was, I mean, they were getting paid, but they cared
they
about
still
the people.
actually care.
And then for us, because we've been in there 12 or 13 years now, and I thank the guards every once in a while. Say, hey, thanks for keeping us safe.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I've never had an incident that I thought that I was out of hand. And you go to men's prison. I mean, sometimes you're thinking, holy smokes, and then my
I'm gonna
mouth will
die.
get rolling,
Yeah.
and then I'll call somebody something and think, man, I probably shouldn't have said that to that guy. But then they'll start laughing, like, okay, whatever.
Okay, that worked. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have to
There was
die
a guy who
today.
had a giant cross on his face, and he said, just call me Crossface. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
It's going to take me a couple of weeks before I get comfortable with, hey, Crossface. But whatever. I hope you're watching this, and I hope you're out and doing really good. Crossface.
Old
Crossface.
I don't remember what your name was. It was Jimmy. I don't know. Anyway, next
Crossface?
question. This is a good question here, Jim, from Jim. Jim from the gym. What brought about your acceptance of Jesus in your life? That is good. I hope this helps. That's Jim. This is not a question. Usually I think of questions as they tell their stories. And you know what, Jim? Good job on the questions.
Good
right?
questions.
Good job on
Solid
the questions.
Except
So
for
if
that
you-
first one.
Anybody else got any questions? You just, they
Add 'em
weren't
in.
really too personal.
No,
But you know what? So what brought about your acceptance of Christ in your life?
realizing that I was living in hell on earth, that I needed something. I had tried everything else, and nothing I tried worked. I needed a savior.
Mm.
And once I became willing to realize that that's exactly what I needed, I can't but I know a guy.
I know a guy. Was that like in the county? Did you
Yes.
say it was in the county jail? So there was
Septem-
volunteers there, or was
Uh,
there another inmate?
Yes.
Or
Well, no, we had a lady that came in and did jail ministry.
yeah,
Miss Judy Little. I still speak to her every day.
every day.
I text her every day.
Wow,
She used to do the jail ministry that I'm now doing.
wow.
Uh,
Okay,
I was a seed.
way to go.
Yeah, I was a seed that was planted right there in that jail.
Yeah.
So she and I became close. Her husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer while I was at San Saba, and I was home long enough to kind of help. She would text me grocery lists, that I could run by and grab and take out to the lake, and I learned to speak fluent Judy because she
Huh.
needed a cipher to read some of her text. She's 80 years old, and she's still just a sweetheart. She
Well, be
has
careful when you're talking 80, because I'm getting close to that.
yeah, I'm not even judging. Yeah, she has kids my age, but she was instrumental in leading me to God.
Hmm.
I want to say September 5th, 2016, I hit my knees right there in that cell
Yeah.
and said, God, literally, I can't do
Yeah.
this anymore. Show me.
Yeah.
If there's a way out, show me. And he did.
Yeah.
By the time that I got to Woodman, I checked
Woodman?
out.
I love Woodman.
You were there. You delivered hygiene that Christmas.
I'm still there.
I see that.
Oh,
I left Woodman, went to San Saba.
another great
Been
place.
there too. Yep.
Where were you at San Saba?
Well, I was the second group in the
No,
faith-based
no.
storm.
Oh, in the faith base. So Q2.
Yep.
Okay. So you're only in
I
a
was
pod with 8.
Q26. Q26 and M6.
Okay.
And yeah, I started out.
I know exactly where that is.
Yeah. I started out, my job was in the library. And the
Okay.
librarian was a super sweet Christian woman. She looked up the books that I had checked out while I was at Woodman. I don't read like that anymore, literally. If it wasn't about Jesus, I quit.
Yeah.
My thoughts started changing, my mind started transforming, and the books I checked out they started a Christian library while I was there, and I was one that prayed on it. The lady that did the faith-based dorm program,
Hmm.
can't remember what her name was. Her and her husband came in and did it.
They're
They
not
were
there
awesome.
anymore.
Yeah, is there a faith-based dorm anymore?
There is. It's a little different. It's
Yeah.
a little different. They have more of a. They're working on more of a sobriety dorm.
Hey,
So the sobriety dorm, a guy was in my class search certificates, and he's like, "Yeah, I just got in the sobriety dorm." I said, "The sobriety dorm?" Like, what? I said, "Well, how long you been sober?" He said, "A week." I'm like, "A week?
how long you been here?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the guy that we just picked up in Jacksboro was the same way.
yeah,
He said K2 is just rampant.
yeah, yeah. I have no idea what that looks like.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
Yeah, and San Saba I was never offered drugs,
yeah,
and then I went to Henley unit for, I call it Safe P's ugly sister, in prison therapeutic community, IPTC,
yeah. Where's that at?
down by Houston,
Okay.
Dayton.
You didn't go over here and burn it.
Nope.
No, not over here, but outside of Austin.
Right.
We're downtown Austin,
Downtown Austin.
50th floor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did 6 months there, and then it was required that I go to a halfway house, and every step of the way, God was there. He provided every step of the way. He knew what I needed. When I
Yeah.
cried out for help, he said, "Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is become willing."
Yeah.
And the more willing I became, the more trust I
Yeah.
had in him.
It's
The
great.
more grace he poured out on me, the more
Mhm.
willing I became. And
Yeah.
it's just been ongoing.
Yeah.
There's a car sitting out there that we just bought 2025. John's very first new car, but it's mine. So we're working on getting him one now.
I know. I was wondering, John, how in the world do you fit into that Porsche?
We wish.
You fold yourself up. I see this guy driving down the street and his head's popping out of the skylight. I'm thinking, who is that? Come to find out, it was John.
More like a Hyundai, but we'll take it.
It's all right.
a start.
Yeah,
Awesome.
good
It's
gas
just-
mileage. Yeah.
Well, the first one he got last year, and it was the newest to him car,
Yeah,
and it was a 2018. So
Yeah.
next
That's
time
good.
we upgrade, it'll be
Fabulous.
for him. keep following God.
Yeah,
He's
you
got
just
a
never
plan.
know. Never know what's going to happen.
No.
I mean, here we are, right here at a podcast. Who ever thought this was going to happen about 2
Right.
months ago?
About 2
Nobody.
months ago.
Really?
Better hang on, because when you say yes, God, I'm willing.
Yeah. Well, right now we've been saying yes, and the doors are all closed.
So you got to be like
Yeah, I know.
persistently.
I'm
hit
banging
that
on
thing
the door just like a woodman. You seen that over there
Mm-hmm.
at the H5? Like, bam, 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 open it up.
Well, and Matthew tells you, keep knocking, keep seeking.
Yeah, we're going to try that. We're going to keep on working
Yes,
on
because
that.
y'all need to be on that app.
I know. That's what I know. It's hilarious. We're going to get on the app. We'll get on the app one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. But the Woodbridge Church tried it. He said it was costly.
What was that?
The Pando app.
It was.
It is.
Oh, well, we don't know about that.
Oh, God, they already just told you no, and they didn't.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess they must have looked us up and realized those bums they can't afford this.
They can't afford
Yeah,
this.
no.
Ran your credit. Yeah, stay
Yeah.
on the porch.
Yeah, we don't know, but there's other things. We're going to get there sooner or later. And like I said,
Y'all
we're trying
need to be.
you know.
The ladies that I write to are like the ones you were in Lockhart with. There were several
Yeah.
ladies I directed. Said, go, talk to him.
Yeah,
There's a reason. There's a reason he's there.
yeah.
You're anointed.
We're just. I don't know. Well, we're anointed.
Well, Mr. Amazing.
She said you're annoying.
Annoying. Okay, I was good. I was thinking I heard something wrong. Yeah, just go there. He's super annoying. Like, okay, great. I
Okay,
can't wait.
great. Yes, sign me
Yeah.
up. They no, the music and the laughter
Yeah.
that come in
Yeah.
combination with bringing the message
Yeah.
is needed.
You know what's
It's
crazy
light
is
in the darkness.
it is, and you know what? We're good at it. We're good at it just because Jesus made us good at it. We're not
That's-
good at it because we've done anything. It's just
Yeah.
He's just given us some gifts.
Amen.
But I will say I'm
So-
so blessed every time I go in.
Yeah.
Like, and people are like, "Oh, you give, you know, give," and it's like, I take so much
Yeah.
That's the
more
way I
than I
feel.
feel like I'm ever giving.
Yeah.
The worship is just always just so pure
Moving.
and moving.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Tom, man, he just
Yes.
Well, you
opened
should have
his
been
word
there
and the Holy
Tuesday.
Spirit
It was totally
just
different than that.
was it
Oh,
not
man, it
was that not the
tough.
vibe?
It was tough, man.
Was that
It
not the
was
vibe?
tough. It was tough. It was. But anyway, so
I'm sad that it was bad,
I'm not saying
but
it
I'm
was bad, it
glad
was tough.
I'm glad that I didn't come back and y'all are like, George,
Oh yeah, it was a-
you should have.
Yeah. It was tough. It was
You
just
missed the
it was
best
just
You
tough
missed the
because it was
best thing
guys.
ever.
Yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, here's how weird it was. We were at a big church,
Okay.
and they had like a little fellowship hall thing, right? So no music. So my Mr. Amazing stuff doesn't work. My happy dance is out of the
Oh.
question. So, just
Would you have
running-
had me do like a
No, I
that one
did-
time I did tequila
Yeah,
and you
that-
did the
no, I would have done that if you'd have played that. That would have been good. So I run around in my cave. Everybody's looking at me like I'm an idiot. Anyway, whatever.
Did
So,
you?
I
Did you wear the cape?
Yeah, I wore it.
And that's
you
why
know.
they were all staring
I know
at
they're
you.
just like, what are we doing here? Like, is that guy on drugs? Yeah. So here's how weird it was. One guy came up to me and says, "Are you the pastor at this church?" I was like, "Are you serious?"
You were offended. You were
Like,
offended. By
I'm like,
that
I'm the
question.
pastor. I mean, I would never be able to be the pastor at this giant place. I thought it was hilarious because how people think of when they're
Well, you
they're
might be
first.
limiting
No, I'm
God.
not going to. I'll promise you that. I'm not going to do that. But it's just crazy, right? And but one guy did say something to me, and I thought, okay, now I'm taking this. I'm taking this one. He said, "You make things so simple," and you know what? I've always been simple. I've always been that way, and that's a gift
That's
to
a
have.
That's a huge.
It was
Yes,
a
it
compliment,
is.
but I don't practice on being simple. It was just a compliment because that's just me. I'm just being myself. And you know what? The Bible has become, I mean, how many times have I said this too? The Bible could be as in-depth as you want it to be. I
Right.
mean, it could be mind-blowing in-depth. You'll never get it all.
Right.
And then on the other hand, it could be as simple as super simple,
There's
as simple
like
as easy.
Gold right on the top. or
Exactly.
there's some nuggets that you've got to dig a little deeper for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And as much effort as you put into it, the more you get out of it.
No doubt. We're going to go a little bit in the Bible, and then we're gonna give John a chance to speak. Yeah, it's all right, John. We're gonna make it easy on you. We're gonna make it easy on you.
Put my reading glasses on his, throat. So
Well, you don't have to put your glasses on.
No, him.
He doesn't
They're-
need glasses.
He's got them. Yeah, yes.
What for?
Reading.
He's not reading anything.
No, he's got them on his throat.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my reading glasses.
Don't hit. Well, you want me to wear them so he doesn't hit me in the throat?
It's
So
not
you
a
block
big
it. You
hitter.
wear the
I just
glasses
block
down
it,
here.
like,
and
whatever.
blocks the throat punch.
Yeah. Save the apple.
That's hilarious. Okay, so you know what? Let's do a little bit of this. So in Matthew 7, it says, "Enter through the narrow gates, for the gate is wide and the road is broad that leads to destruction." So true.
Stairway to heaven, highway to hell.
Yeah. I know.
Literally.
I love the song Highway to Hell, but I can't play it because I can't sing along with that.
Not
It's just
anymore.
one of those you just can't do. You can't
Yeah.
just be going down, I'm on the highway. I mean, it just
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
work.
I'm not doing that.
I'm just not doing it,
I
yeah.
used to be.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, because I'll still hear the beat. I'm like, yeah, and then like,
Yeah, I have to turn left.
and then it says, and then yeah, exactly. And there are many who go through it, the destruction. How narrow and difficult the road that leads to life, and few find it. So, every once in a while, I was always thinking about this, just like walking down a path, and how, the narrow path is like you can't get off and this and that. And, I'm not totally really sure that's what it's about, because then that's a rules dominated thing. But
Right.
also in this
Legalistic.
is we live in a world now to where, and you know what, I know some people that are like that. Like, all religions lead to the same thing. We live in a world where, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Church of Christ, you could be a, Jehovah's Witness, Mormon,
Right.
Baptist, whatever, Buddhist.
The whole
and
the pluralistic mindset that it's all leading to this one
that is,
one way in.
yes, I mean, and you know what? It's people are like, yeah, it's like, no, that's not
No,
it.
it's not.
It's not. There's one way. And I'm thinking, well, people are, well, why would they only have it one way? I'm like, one way is the simplest thing there is. It's just one way. It's not confusing. It's not a
Right.
bunch of different ways. It's one way.
Well, somebody pointed this out, and I really like this. The world, in their negativity, see Jesus as this person that's at this one way out, holding. It's Jesus reaching his arm through this one way, saying, "Please, I
on.
got you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of this, the world, thinking of him as some kind of obstacle. He's the lifeguard, and you can pass on it, but it's not that he's trying to keep you out. He's trying to pull you in.
Yeah.
And I
None
think
should
that really
perish.
seems
Yeah.
to match what we're talking about here.
It does. Like the narrow, just do whatever you want to do. It's okay.
Yeah,
you can do whatever
it's
you want to
fine.
do. But in the
What
end,
makes you happy?
yeah, it makes you
Yeah.
happy. But in the end, you know what? You're going to hell. Because
Exactly.
Jesus is saying there's two ways. It's the narrow path. It's trust me, or it's or don't trust me. And here's your choices.
And people
And
think it comes with tons of rules
and
and
it-
do's
yeah,
and don'ts.
it's-
and
no,
be
no.
willing.
no, the thing is, like you said it earlier, it's just that, like, the more grace you get, the more you realize how loved you are. So the more that you want to do what's right, because now you know what you've been forgiven.
And
Not that you
what I've
have
been
to.
Missing.
I'm tired of people telling me I have to do this and this and this. No, you don't have to do any. That's the whole point. Is I can't do it.
No, that's why I need him.
That's why I need him. But the-
Exactly.
So there's two ways. It's the narrow way, and it's the broad way. But the thing about it is, few find it.
Right.
Right? Few find it, because you know what? With Jesus is, it's like Jesus has been
Represented. Yeah.
represented. Like
Yeah.
it's the
And that's sometimes
rules.
that's our fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
The church's fault.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've misrepresented what we're supposed to be and who he is. And
Right.
we get in the way sometimes of the truth, the way, the truth, the life, the door.
That's true.
And we sometimes are the idiots that are
Yeah.
kind of overcomplicating
Yeah.
things on certain levels.
Or most of the time, we're walking down the broad road, not.
That's
Yeah,
true
we're
too.
we're just looking just like everybody else.
Yeah,
You know, we're
maybe
not
the-
standing out. We're afraid to say anything because we're going to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever the
Right.
case may be is. And then plus, when you think about the narrow road, for some reason, it just seems negative.
Right.
It's just
Sounds
like, oh, just a
Sounds
little
very
narrow,
lonely.
Yeah,
like,
sounds
yeah,
very
just-
lonely.
right? But it's not. It's not that way at all. It's the greatest way.
Mhm.
The other way, though, it's like backwards. The narrow way seems like it's boring and this and that, but no, man, it leads to life. The other that looks like it leads to life leads to death,
Straight to death.
and
Yeah.
it fakes you out.
Sure. Well, with
All
the
you
whole
have-
the whole concept of safety in numbers, we're like, oh, I'm going to go where everybody else is
Right.
going. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's not going to pan out so well
No.
in the end.
How many times do parents say, if your friend jumps
Jump
off the
off
the
bridge,
bridge.
you're going to jump off the
You
bridge?
just see the whole herd of pigs
Yeah.
Yeah.
jumping off.
And come to find out, they were so right because here we go, right off the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Sometimes it's easier, they think, to go along, and it's not.
It's not.
It is so worth it. And
Yeah.
become willing. All he asks us is just say yes, and I'll do the rest.
Yeah.
I'll do the rest. Come and follow me.
That's true. And you know how many
There's-
times have I said this too? Which, since I've been into prison, since I've been doing the search for significant stuff, I realize that it's not my performance, but we're so wrapped up in our performance. It's not my performance that makes it. It's Jesus's performance that makes it. I've said it over and over and over, and I'm going to say it over and over. It's so freeing. The narrow path was Christ. He's like saying, look, you screwed it up, and I'm going to take that from you. And you don't your identity is no longer based on your performance. It's based on his performance. That's the narrow road, which leads to life. I don't want to, I'm not going back to the other path. I'm not going back to drinking. I'm not going back to that. I'm not going back to, I'm still kind of selfish and I still do stuff, right, that I probably shouldn't be doing. But I'm not going back to that. I don't want to get off the narrow path because I know that Christ has leads to life. Just think where our lives are now compared to where they were. And how many times, when you were doing drugs, it's like your whole circle was just like this. It just got smaller and smaller and smaller. There's no life going to smaller.
No.
All you
There's
do
no
is
life,
you just go
period.
from this house to this house to this. I mean, your whole life is, now that you got Christ, next thing you know, I'm driving halfway across the state of Texas to be on a podcast.
Never know.
Now
That's it.
God's using, God's giving me a car to do some other things. Or,
It's my Bible mobile.
my Bible mobile, or he's helping me to be who I was called to be.
Exactly.
Right now, there's life. Now
He's
there's hope.
using
Now
me.
there's freedom. Where the other was, like you said, I just wanted to die.
Yes.
That's what the destruction does. It just wants to kill you.
Yep.
Where you know
Kill,
what? No,
steal,
Jesus is
destroy.
like, well, we just said it. My yoke is light, and you know what? It is so true.
It is.
But I'll keep piling it on.
Yeah.
It's like you think, well, Jesus is
here.
a heavy yoke. No, his is light. It's what I pile on. But every day I can give it to him, and he's okay with that.
Well, then I've warned girls when they're getting baptized and they're stepping up, starting to follow God, you're putting a bullseye right on your back.
Yeah,
As soon as you say, hey, I choose God, the enemy's like, oh, but do you?
yeah,
You're putting a target on your back. Be ready.
yeah.
Be ready.
That's true. And then he's putting a target on your family and all these other
The
things.
closer you get to God, the more the enemy,
Yeah,
I call it attack to distract.
Yeah, he's a
because
loser.
if he's over here doing this, you're not face down in that.
Yeah,
Be face down in that Bible.
it's so true. All right, so we're going to end. So, Carla, if you want to speak to, because we're trying to get in the prison system, and I know that we're not there yet. But there's a lot of people that need hope and they're struggling. And they may be out
Absolutely.
of prison, and you know what? They may be just like they haven't been in their Bible, and it's just things are unraveling for them. Whatever the case is, again, just look right in here and just give somebody, something that, just give them the encouragement that they need.
Okay, I would say the only thing you got to do is become willing. Just reach out. Reach out to a church. You can reach out to me. Like I said, it's Carla Fox Stevens on Facebook. My phone number's posted on there. I will be glad to help in any way I can. I can direct you from anywhere. Usually in the state of Texas, I have people all over in the churches, in the recovery world. Reach out. There's a better way. Don't die in your addiction. There are options, and there are people that want to help. I call it a network of felons. We will find a way to help you. Just reach out. That's
Good
it.
stuff. George, what do you got to say?
I just want to reiterate that Christ as the
Reiterate? That's kind of a big word.
Ooh,
Sometimes
That's
you know,
good.
you
Your
know,
parents must be
he
so
works
proud
at a
of you.
school.
I teach
He does.
English.
He's an English
I
teacher,
learn
no doubt.
people English
Yeah.
in the state of Texas.
I learned it.
Anyway,
Mm.
I'm
sorry.
reiterating on my point that Jesus being the way isn't like in the way. It's Jesus reaching out and he's trying to pull you into this one way of life.
Yes.
And just reach out, like you said. Just
That's all you gotta do is
that's
say, Jesus.
say yes. Say yes to what He
I
has.
tell the girls in jail all the time, the simplest prayer you can ever pray is, Jesus, help me.
Yeah.
Hit your knees, throw your hands up.
Yeah.
Hit your forehead on that concrete jail cell. Jesus, help me. Just
Yeah.
repeat it. First thing you know, he will.
You know what? He pays attention to that. You can say, Jesus, give me a new car and give me this
Yeah,
and give me that.
that-
Give me
yeah,
this. He ain't
that's
paying
it.
attention to a lot of that.
Yeah.
But when you say, hey, God, I am tired
Sincerely.
and I need help
I need
bad, I guarantee you, man, you have got his ear.
I'm sorry.
sorry.
To show me a way
Yes.
out.
And he's not condemning you.
At
He's
all.
loving you.
At all.
He's going to try to help you through the mess that you've created.
And use
Try to
the
restore
mess.
stuff and then use the mess.
for his glory.
Exactly. And just think how many people it can help.
Yeah, I trashed my life, literally, and he's turned it into a message.
Yeah. It's good.
You know?
Some good stuff. All right. So until you see us again next week, yeah, we're done.